Broadcasting to York online and on 94.8 FM.
Jorvik Radio.
It's Mental Health Awareness Week, and if you were tuning in on Wednesday, you heard us speaking with our regular mental health partners, The Retreat. But they're not the only good mental health resource in York. There's lots, of which Time to Change York are one of them. And I'm delighted to be joined by Lauren Ruddock. She's a local champion from Time to Change York. Hi, Lauren.
Hiya.
So, just for people who may not have heard of Time to Change or who aren't aware exactly of what you do, what is Time to Change York?
Time to Change York, we're a group of people from York and the surrounding area. We're all helping to end mental health stigma and discrimination by sharing our own lived experience of mental ill health and mental illness.
Funnily enough, we had somebody on Wednesday who was an expert by experience, and I'm guessing that's what you guys are as well. And it's quite powerful, isn't it, when you can speak from experience, because, you know, you get a connection with people, you chime if they think you've actually been in their shoes. Yeah,
I do think speaking about your own lived experience is a very powerful thing. People think that they're on their own if they have mental illness, but they're actually not. There's a lot of people that have gone through similar things.
Yeah, very much so. If people want to get involved specifically with Time to Change, well, we'll obviously talk about Mental Health Awareness Week in a couple of moments, but if people want to get involved with Time to Change York, can they? Is there opportunities for people to get involved like yourself?
Yeah, people can get involved as individuals or as a workplace, and they don't have to have mental health diagnosis. Everyone's human. We've all got mental health, and we want to create a world where nobody feels ashamed to talk about mental health. You can search for us on Twitter and Facebook or Instagram, and for people that don't do social media, we've got a YouTube channel, and we've also got a website. You can get in contact with us on timetochange@yorkcvs.org.uk.
That's a great point, really. I like the point about workplaces. We all assume that obviously mental health sometimes is something we take care of, but it's very important, isn't it, for businesses to get involved and for people to be very aware of the mental health policies and things that they put in place directly impact on their employees, don't they?
Yeah, I do believe that if businesses look after their employees' mental health as much as everything else, then they will get much better employees.
I think you're absolutely right. So let's turn to Mental Health Awareness Week. What is that from your perspective? Why is it important for Time to Change Mental Health Awareness Week?
Obviously, it's Mental Health Awareness Week this week. The theme is kindness. Obviously, mental illness doesn't just happen like this week, but Awareness Week's one of the ways to bring attention to the importance of looking after your own mental health. This year, our champions in York, who are people with lived experience such as myself, have been sharing their insights into kindness and how this helps their mental health. And this year we were challenged by being given 3 questions, which were: what is the kindest thing that you have done for yourself over the past couple of months to help your mental health and or to help reduce mental health stigma and discrimination? What is the kindest thing that someone else has done for you during the past couple of months to help your mental health and or help mental health stigma and discrimination? And the final question was: what is the kindest thing that you would like to see happen in the future to help your mental health and or to end mental health stigma and discrimination?
I mean, they're really powerful, aren't they? Because you're dealing with, 3 or 4 things there, in the fact that one of the things that we discussed on Wednesday, and I guess is important to you guys, is being kind to yourself is very, very important. But you actually get a benefit from your mental health from being kind to others, don't you? You actually feel better about yourself, and it improves your mental health when you share the kindness.
Yeah, you definitely do. Even if sometimes it's just sitting and listening to somebody.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm going to put you on the spot here. What would you like to change? If you had one wish with regards to that third question about what would you like to see change in mental health or for the better, what would it be, probably?
Well, I've answered these questions, obviously. I did a video.
Oh, great.
And, well, I'll kind of take my answer off what I said. Basically, because everything with the pandemic and things, there's people now that are experiencing mental health issues for the first time that have never experienced it before. And I just hope with all of this that people maybe will become more understanding of mental health issues. I'm not ashamed to say it. I've had mental health issues for 7 years. I had depression 7 years ago and I recovered, and during this pandemic I've slipped back into it. I am recovering now. I just hope with everything else, people can understand how powerful listening is and seeking help.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that is powerful for me is that people like yourself have the courage to come on and speak about it, and that actually empowers others. It gives them permission to feel as though they can do the same. So we are hugely grateful for people like yourself coming on, because people will go, well, actually, funnily enough, I felt that way, or I experienced mental illness or depression a few years ago, and funnily enough, the current pandemic has exacerbated it. And also maybe people who haven't before can identify it as not just weakness, pull yourself together, the old-fashioned advice, which obviously was misguided and stupid. Did you find that some of the strategies and the skills that you learnt to help you 6 or 7 years ago, you've been able to bring in to your current experiences with the pandemic?
I'm quite lucky in the fact I've got a good support network around me, and I was able to reach out. I've previously gone through treatments and things, so I was able to get help quite quickly, but there's people who haven't gone through this before who won't know where to turn.
And it's time to change one of those people to turn to. If somebody's listening now and thinking, you know what, I do need help. Lauren speaks a lot of sense there. I need a support network. I live on my own, or I don't have many friends. It's time to change there for people like that.
We aren't technically a service, but we can signpost. But there's places like Mind that can help. There's the Samaritans. There's always somebody available to answer the phone at the Samaritans. They are fantastic.
They are. And it's 24/7, 365, which I think is so important. There's never nobody there. Even through the pandemic, that's been important. Have you, as Time to Change, been doing specific things for Mental Health Awareness Week? You say you've done the videos. Have you been holding sessions at maybe, universities, or have you been doing sort of online chats and stuff like that on social media?
Well, we had reasonably sized plans for Mental Health Awareness Week, but then the pandemic obviously happened, and we had to quickly change, thanks to our fantastic coordinator, Emma Williams. She is brilliant. We've got some brilliant champions as well. There's our hub, the York hub, and 3 other hubs from across the country in Warrington, Kingston and Birmingham. They were chatting on Twitter and they came up with an idea. And I mean, I've got a small part to play in this. I write a little bit of poetry. I found that it really helps with my own mental health. And I wrote this poem and I thought nothing of it. And they were just talking about it, and it kind of snowballed. And it was released on Monday, as champions from across the country have read versions of my poem, and some wonderful technical wizard has melded it all together.
Wow. And is that on YouTube or on the Facebook channel?
All our social media channels on YouTube. It's had nearly 2,000 views. Wow.
What's it called, by the way?
The poem's called Time to Change.
Well, makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. It's only since I actually had mental health issues in sort of January time, I was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder. And I found my creativity through therapy, and I started writing poetry as a result.
And I guess that's had a beneficial knock-on effect of improving your mental health, as well as giving you an artistic outlet as well.
Yeah, and I mean, I know we always say people need to talk, but if you don't feel like you can physically say it, write your feelings down. Okay to do that.
Yes, and it's just another way of expressing it at the end of the day, isn't it? Whether it's a video, whether it's a poem, whatever you do, you are expressing yourself, and you're getting over ways in which you should do that. Well, I tell you what, it's been an absolute pleasure having a chat to you about this, and also hearing about your personal experiences and what you're doing. So could you just remind us of how to get in touch with Time for Change York again before we head off?
Of course. We're on all social media, which is Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. If you search at TTC York on Twitter and search Time to Change York on Instagram and Facebook. And if you email timetochange@yorkcvs.org.uk and get in touch that way.
Brilliant. Well, thanks for your time, Lauren, and take care, and thanks for everything you're doing.
Thank you very much for having me on.
No, pleasure. Thank you.
Broadcasting to York online and on 94.8 FM.
Jorvik Radio.